Our role in the community goes beyond maintaining and upgrading 5,500 kilometres of track. In agriculture, our rail network connects WA farmers and their products to the rest of the world.
I grew up in the Midwest, in a little place called Canna. My family has been farming in Canna since 1929, and I absolutely loved growing up there. We were quite far from town, about 50 k's, and we were the first ones on the school bus and the last ones off. We have a big old farmhouse, probably falling down in places, but to me it's still very much home. Dad is very much a farmer through and through. I couldn't see him doing anything else. We have about 10,000 acres across 2 farms. We grow predominantly wheat. I always remember that Dad would get up very early to start harvest, and he'd be working well into the night, he and his workmen. I always remember him coming back into the house, you know, covered in red dirt, and some of the guys who would drive the trucks for Dad back and forward to the wheat bin, you know, really big personalities. We cart to Mingenew, which is one of the largest grain receival sites inland in WA. The grain is generally taken out by rail to the nearest port for export. With WA producing about 14 million tonnes of grain each year, the infrastructure has to be ready and capable of managing that load. So some of the trains now can even get up to 1.8 kilometres, which is massive. I think rail is really important because you can put a lot more on rail than you can in a truck. The capacity's there, the efficiency is there, you know, you're getting straight from site to port. Farms are businesses, and making sure that farmers have access to quality infrastructure is very important as well, because being out there in the middle of nowhere, you know, they rely on those connections to make sure that their grain gets to where it needs to go and they can continue farming for another year.
In every community, the way we work impacts people's lives, sometimes in unforeseen ways.
I grew up in Gosnells, a boy of the suburbs, but just had my 21st birthday. I was aiming for Benarlu up towards Carnarvon. So I was just driving down the highway and I know something was going wrong with the engine, and by the time I got to 440 Roadhouse it was quite clear I couldn't go any further, and luckily someone came to my help who said, "Why don't you come and stay with me for the night, mate?" But within no time at all, he introduced a couple of football clubs to myself and a couple of accounting firms, and everyone said, "Look, try and get the big fella to stay in town. He looks like he could probably take a mark up front and kick a few goals, and if you can do tax returns now, what more could you want?" One of the great things about Geraldton is it's full of entrepreneurial spirit and people that will give everyone a go. So I simply just got a bunch of mates together and we invested in a pub and built a pub, and from there I had to build a security company to service that pub. It was time for us to grow as a company and move into more advanced fields of security, and out of nowhere came Brookfield Rail, now known as ARC Infrastructure, of course, and said, "Look, you're all a bunch of big guys, but we want to bring it to the next level. Do you want to be part of growing your business, being part of a big deal here in the Midwest, the Midwest Rail Project?" The rail project itself had plant and equipment spread over 200 kilometres of rail line, fuel depots and expensive multi-million-dollar track laying equipment. So we were charged with looking after that. Through close working relationships with ARC Infrastructure at the time, we were able to transform our company from just being a bunch of guys that knocked about at the pubs and on the doors and that into what is now the largest privately owned security company north of Perth. It's through the rail that Geraldton connects to all the regions and shires around us, to our north, south and east. Without a rail link into our port, we simply wouldn't be the thriving economy that we now are. Yeah, and so in 2015, I was elected as Mayor of the City of Greater Geraldton. I've been here 20 years now, just considered a local and part of the community, and it's a legit true story. It did transform my company, and it's all ridgy-dig.
In isolated communities, we connect with people and businesses, making a difference in unique ways.
I went to Kalgoorlie at the age of 21 and bought a business. Actually born there but didn't grow up there, because I'd always had this dream, even though I was only 21, of owning my own cafe. So I got in my little Celica and trundled up to Kalgoorlie, and a week later I opened the business. I sort of did everything as a small business owner, from cleaning the floors to serving people to ordering stock to employing people. What happened really early on, all these people in town, particularly other business people, were supporting me and really wanted me to succeed. It's an incredibly warm and embracing community. Not long after I started that business was when I actually got involved in the Kalgoorlie-Boulder Chamber of Commerce. So my next door neighbour happened to be the Vice President of the Chamber at the time, and he became my regular from day one. About a month after me opening, he said, "Why don't you come along to the Chamber to see what it's all about?" And it was probably the best thing I ever did. I'm Kitty Pridonovich. I'm the CEO of the Regional Chambers of Commerce and Industry of WA. We first came across ARC. They contacted us and we went and met with them, and right from day one they really wanted to get involved. What we find with ARC is a true and genuine partnership. They're talking to local businesses, they employ local people, even things like donating sleepers for community gardens, which people might think is a small thing, but it's a huge thing. It really means a lot to those community gardens. The railway line and the freight lines for a place like Kalgoorlie-Boulder, which is geographically isolated, are absolutely vital for any type of business, whether it's mining, goods and services coming in, products being freighted out. If you don't have that strong connectivity between ports, major cities, the eastern states, other regional centres in Western Australia, business can't grow, and business actually would be completely stifled. But we know in Kalgoorlie-Boulder that rail truly is the original connector.
Together, we connect with people and businesses. Our role in the community goes beyond maintaining and upgrading 5,500 kilometres of track. In every community, the way we work impacts people's lives. ARC Infrastructure. Together, we go beyond.